In this video, I'm going to be sharing my story of how I went from being fired from 2 part-time jobs to working part-time at Mclaren and also getting an engineering placement at Caterpillar. When I first came to the UK, I was 17 years old. I'd never worked in my life. I'd never traveled out of the country. Like, I barely even traveled around Cameroon. So I knew nothing about working. And I got a job about 2 to 3 months after I got to the UK, and it was in a fish and chips shop. So what I had to do was get customer orders and serve them fish and chips. Sounds simple, right? But for some reason, I just could not get it. There was something about the British accent I did not understand quite well at the start. I was also a very quiet person, and I struggled to communicate out loud. So that role was quite difficult for me. And I saw that I wasn't doing as well. Like, I would make very silly mistakes, and I saw that my manager was getting more and more pissed. I was really hoping not to lose the job. Deep down, I saw it coming. I knew that this job, I might lose it, because every time I'll go back feeling disappointed in myself. I could have done well. I made some silly mistakes. At some point, I started picking up the job, but on the day they actually gave me more responsibility, I just blundered everything. And when I got home, my manager just messaged me on Facebook. I was like, no, what, don't bother coming back in. Maybe this job is not right for you. You'll be great in something else, but not this one. I can tell you for sure that that was so painful. It was shattering. I felt so bad because I always had, and I still have, high expectations for myself. I'm always really, really hard on myself, and I always try to excel at everything I put my mind to. So that was a big blow to me. It took me a while, but I got back on the job market, got back to looking for jobs. The second job I got at the time was in an outdoor learning center. So I had to assist a head chef to cook meals for kids, cut carrots, lay out tables, wash the dishes. It was quite simple to do, but I felt really bored of the job. The head chef at the time who I was working with, when I told him I wanted to leave, he tried to convince me to stay. It was kind of very rewarding because I went from being fired to being begged to actually stay back and work. But then I decided to leave because I had another agency which I had signed up for, and I saw that they had a lot of shifts and it could be more exciting, a better opportunity to meet people, travel different places to work and get to know how the UK culture and everything works. So I went for that. But the agency was not very consistent at a point in time. So I decided to get a more permanent restaurant job, and it was an Italian restaurant. When I started working at the restaurant, the first day was okay, but I quickly realized that at that restaurant, they really wanted vibrant people who would welcome the customers with a smile, oh, señorita, buenos dias. Maybe you've noticed, but I don't have the most bubbly personality, and I try to be nice. I'm always nice and polite, and I smile to people, but I'm not the type of person who will be hyperactive, running up and down the stairs at every point in time. The jobs I'd done with agency were so much easier than the jobs I'd done with that restaurant, and they're much more enjoyable. I felt like they kept making remarks about me not being always smiling with my teeth, my mouth this all the time. So yeah, at some point they're like, you know what, this job might not be for you. To be fair, at that time I actually wanted to quit that job. If they did not tell me to leave, I'll probably have decided to leave, but usually I always hesitate to leave because I'm always okay, just give it a try, maybe you get used to it at some point. But it just turned out that they asked me to leave. So I did leave, and immediately after I got another job, which I'm not going to talk about, but that one went very well as well. I had to leave that job because I was moving to another city. It was really painful. I didn't want to leave. They didn't want me to leave either, but I had to leave because I was moving, and I was very uncertain about the kind of jobs I could get next because the city I was moving to wasn't as bubbly as the city I lived in before. To my greatest surprise, as I continued working with my agency, I ended up working on an event at Mclaren as the hospitality assistant, and the manager really liked how I worked on that day, and she was like, do you want to have consistent shifts at Mclaren? I was like, yeah, definitely, I'll be happy for that. And I started working at Mclaren in January 2023, and I finished in June 2023. That was one of the best jobs I've done in the UK. It was so much fun. The people I worked with were excellent. I was able to get up to 20 hours which I struggled to get at my previous job, and that was like a game changer. The pay was better, the people I met there were better, the job was more entertaining, manager was superb. Like, I really enjoyed my time on Mclaren, but I had to leave Mclaren because I was going to start an engineering internship at Caterpillar in June as well. So at the moment, as I'm speaking to you, I'm working at Caterpillar as an engineer, and I'm really loving the job, really loving the company. Great culture, great possibilities to learn, like it's endless. So some of the things that I've really learned since I came to the UK, especially around career and work, is that not every job is for you. You might end up in the wrong job, and it's okay if you get fired. It's okay if you opt to leave. Don't feel bad about yourself. There is a perfect job for you somewhere. There's a job that would recognize your ability, your effort, will see your worth. In the end, it's a business, and the owner has to get the people who they feel is the best fit for their business, and you too have to find a company where you enjoy working and you don't always go home feeling sad or thinking less of yourself. And also, if you're at a company and you feel like you're not working at your full potential and there's something else you'd rather do, don't be scared to just cut your losses, if at all there are losses, and move on. Like they say, regrets waste tons. Life is dynamic. You might be at a job that you love, but at some point you really hate it. It becomes repetitive. That's the time for you to switch things up and do something else. Also, rejections are part of life, and rejections do not make you less of a person, because before getting my placement, I applied to over 20 different companies, and every single day I would wake up to a rejection. And the one company that gave me a chance, like actually listened to what I had to say in an interview, offered me a placement. So never give up, no matter the number of rejections you get. Just keep applying. The more jobs you apply to, the more you push yourself out there, the better your chances of being lucky, if you want to call it that way. I hope this has been inspiring, and if you're looking for a job, or if you've just lost a job, don't give up. Just keep going. Everything is going to fall into place at some point. If you like this video, leave a like, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to stay notified. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.